What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, we're going to talk about Tesla, how it could potentially have a huge week this week because of something called the expected move. We're going to talk about that. Now, before we get into this video, I'd like to remind you, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much for being here. Let's get right into the video. Now, if you haven't watched my channel before, I go over something called the expected move. I do it normally for NIO every single weekend, normally on Sundays, and to find this, I go to my brokerage, TD Ameritrade. This is Thinkorswim platform, and what you do is go to your option chain, type in the stock you want to, and then go to that Friday expiration date. So each of these is every Friday. Well, it'll vary depending on actually if it's a holiday on a Friday, but most times this is just Friday. So this is a Friday, night 26th is a Friday. You get it. So you go over to that date, and then you go over to this number right here. You see where it says plus or minus 50.70. That's the expected move for Tesla this week, upcoming week. Now, the expected move, if you don't know, it's a parameter. It's a range that market makers give a particular stock for that week. Now, keep in mind, the stock can stay in between the range. It can go above it. It can go below it. It's just a range that the market makers like the stock to stay in between. Now, it doesn't have to stay in between. Like I mentioned before, it can go either way. And what I do is I just draw it on the chart during the video, what I normally do for NIO, just so you can get a visual of that. So Tesla is $50. Now, it doesn't have to be exact. I've talked about this in my other video. It does not have to be exact, guys. It just has to be close enough where you get the idea of what the move is at. So that's the plus part. And I mentioned earlier that it's also minus because it's a range, so you have to factor in the minus as well. So minus 50. So let's find that. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. So just take your tool and then draw it out. So basically, for this upcoming week, this is where market makers want Tesla to stay in between. Now, this is a pretty big range. $50 is pretty big. So we have the top of this range at around 863, 864. We have the bottom of the range around 764. So you can see it's pretty huge. Now, this first range right here is something called the first standard deviation. So there's 68% chance that it stays in between this first standard deviation. If you want to find the second one, all you do is add it from the first move. You would also do this from the minus side, but for the sake of the video, let's just keep this short and let's look at it, the top one. So the top one has us all the way at $915. Now, before you ask this, yes, it's very possible for a stock to get out of this first move. Even a third standard deviation. Tesla has done a third one before once. That's when they announced the stock split. Tesla hit a third standard deviation move. So for the second move right here, 95% chance it stays in between that. Third one, 99% chance it stays in between that. So Tesla has, yes, hit a third standard deviation before. I know that's crazy, right? But so Tesla could potentially be hitting all-time highs based on this second one right here. But the probability is that it will most likely stay in between this first one. Typically, when it pushes up to it, it's not a resistance line, but typically we do see some type of rejection. But if we do get above it, then it may hit a quick dash to the second one. So we may see a quick pop off of that. So keep that in mind as well. Now, we have all-time highs. We have this resistance here. We have it right at, or one of them at, let's see, 885.27. I know we've hit above that just a little bit before, but around that range we've been rejected several times. So going into next week, I definitely want us to get back in this green box, which we did barely on Friday, but seeing some continuation. I made the valid point that we are still making these higher lows. So our next higher low maybe will be somewhere up here. The next one will be somewhere up here. You get the point. So we pull back, made this first higher low, pull back, made the second one. So obviously, if you want to keep the trend intact, we need to keep pushing up. So Tesla, overall, great company, and now we know what range we have to look out for. Either way, we pretty much can guarantee that it will stay in between this range. Now, hopefully, for all of you that are holding Tesla, let's hope it gets out of it. And let me know in the comments below, or are you holding Tesla for 5 years, 10 years? What's your whole viewpoint on it? And then also, how many shares do you have? Do you have fractionals? Do you have whole shares? What's your whole outlook on Tesla? Personally, I have a couple shares of Tesla, not too much. I've been adding on every dip, and we've pretty much been in this consolidation range for Tesla really for quite some time. So we can draw this level out here. I don't want to get you too confused with all these lines. So we've been in this range right here for quite some time, ever since we had this push up from the S&P 500 inclusion, all of that. We've had this push up, we had this initial one, and then we've just been pushing up since then. But overall, we're kind of stuck in this horizontal range right here, not doing too much. You know, we've had our pushes up, but then we sell off. We've had our pushes up, then we sell off. So right now, potentially Friday was a good dip buy for Tesla. So let's hope this hold. I would give it all the way to right here, 783.74. If we get below that, we're probably heading back down. But I do think, just because of the overall market, what it did towards the end of Friday, I think it's going to be strong. I think Tesla's going to be strong this upcoming week. Let me know in the comments below, what's your outlook for Tesla this week? Either way, thank you for being here. I hope you learned what the expected move was and how you can actually find it for any ticker. So before we go, I'll just show you NIO. If you like NIO, just hit that in there. I'll also be coming out with a video on NIO. But you can do any stock you want to. You can do Apple. So any stock you want, just go to your option chain, type this in. Either way, thank you for being here. Appreciate it, and I'll see you all in the next video.